Hey guys, this is Angelos doing something slightly different than I normally do for my channel. This is going to be a Men of War video, simply because this is a game I'm playing quite a lot at the moment, so I thought I might as well get you one of these vids. I'll get you a vid of something, so I might as well do this. This is a game I normally play anyway. Okay, so before I start, I've got to tell you I'm not the best at this game, so I'm not gonna be going along going, oh look at my elite skills and the size of my penis. I'm afraid that won't be happening in this vid. If you want to look at decent commentaries of this, you want to be checking out Saiedz channel if you already haven't. He obviously doesn't just make Men of War vids, he does some Napoleon ones as well, which are quite good. If you haven't already watched them, which I'm sure most people who are subscribed to me already have, there will be a link in the description of this vid if you have not. Okay, so I make quite a few mistakes in this one. I'm not going to be afraid. I won't be afraid to point them out, and they'll come along later on. First off, this commentary is recorded after the vid, so you'll hear myself in game occasionally moaning on, but you'll hear Alba, my partner, moaning on more than me, which I'm happy to say. You'll hear him in a sec go, no, a half track or something like that. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so to start with, I just bring a regular squad and I split it in half. The MG and half the regular squad with the MG42 set up on the right because I'm expecting him to push down the road, which he does later on, but most of his men go into the middle and I send only a half of my squad into the mid, but I'll support later on. So I lose the mid because I don't have enough men in there to start with, but I hold the right because I've got mass where most of my forces are. He sets up a heavy MG at the end of the road and I pick the gunners off using direct control on the MG42, which is quite a useful thing to do, I have found, with that particular gun. The American gun, like the Bar, doesn't seem to do it as well, nor does the Bren gun for the Brits. Okay, so this is my first mistake. I decide to try and capture his MG and rush two men at it. One drops immediately because he remans it, and then I go back to using direct control for the MG42, take the crew out, and I go, oh, I can get it now. Run at the thing and take it, forgetting that since the latest patch for Men of War, I can't actually rotate the gun round to shoot the men coming up behind me. So I can see there's a rifleman coming up behind me and trying to click direct control, and then bang, he just shoots me in the head and remans it. So that was a bit silly. I should have 18-aided it and remembered that you can't rotate machine guns inside of an emplacement anymore without using direct control. Okay, so to support my inf in the mid, I bring up this flak 38. Which ends up being quite useful. I mow down a couple of men who are in the middle, and I'm trying to unroot his men from the mid by using nades, and then going to try and ninja the mid in a little bit. Doesn't go too well because as soon as I get all of his men out, he just sends another wave of them in. Unfortunately, because I didn't 18-aid this MG, it becomes a bit of a pain in my ass during this game. And this is another mistake I make. Watch this. This is my flak 38. I put it on the wrong side of the train car. He sends a guy up who is clearly hacking. That one rifleman was clearly hacking because I saw him throw a Molotov at that house. I thought, I've got him now. Ran around the corner and he shot me in the head instantly. It just looked suspicious to me. That was a bit of a mong with it. I should have dismanned that flak 38, but in the end I tried to run it off from his one man who shot both of my men, then remanned, then captured it and tried to shoot my SMG guy. So I threw a grenade at it to disman my own gun and capture it back off him. So I made that much more difficult than it needed to be. So I bring out some paratroopers to reinforce the mid because I'm a bit depleted infantry-wise in the middle now. Alba seems to be having a bit of a problem on the left. It doesn't look like it in this vid, but I was checking the mini-map to ensure there was nothing too difficult over there. I mean, at the moment he'll really take it later on, but if he had a tank or something over there, I'd send some support. But I can see he's alright at the moment. He's holding his ground. So I'm focusing more on capturing the middle flag. The little T-70 that you can just see on the top left of the screen, I noticed that, and I was wondering if I needed to move my flak to shoot it in the flank, but luckily I do not. Okay, so because that MG's still up, I can't get any headway on the right. This Alba's I was saying about his gun not firing there. So I just listening to him back, it just amuses me. on the right, because he's got the MG nest set up, he's also got a sniper next to it as well, so it's suppressing my men with the MG and then picking him off with a sniper. I don't notice he's got a sniper until a little later. You can just hear me there saying, responded to Alba, he's asking me how I was doing. That was in game, that wasn't me. There wasn't two of me talking at once. Okay, so he does a counter-attack on the right now with a squad of Marines. I do bring out my own sniper just for him to run straight into a Marine squad. So I bring out this armoured car as well, which probably wasn't the best idea. You'll see why later on. But I start to recap the right in a little bit. But he's sending constant waves of regular inf into the mid and onto the right. And I saw that as the quickest way of dealing with them all, rather than bringing up my own men, bringing up a squad of regulars of my own to deal with them, because he'd use the sandbags that I'd been using to hold his men back against me, and I'd probably get pinned down. But I make a mistake here. After taking these infantry out, I move the STKFZ back into the middle of the road, which is a mistake. After I move that paratrooper back around the wall, I take my attention off it, and then I reverse it into an anti-tank gun. which wasn't too smart. I should have realised that. I wasn't too impressed with that at the time. Bit annoying. I could have used that as a mobile flak gun in the middle, which would have been more useful than the flak 38, because I can't really put the flak 38 into a decent position for too long. It's because of the train carts in the mid. It's no real line of sight, so I have to keep shifting it around to get line of sight on everyone. And in the end, I lose it anyway to a mortar. So that's why I would have preferred if the SDKs had stayed up. Okay, so here he's counter-attacks the mid with half a squad of regs. I got two paratroopers there. Paratroopers come with extra nades, so I just fling a couple of nades in, and well, it kills them all quite easily. They clumped up together, so it only takes 2 nades to kill about 4 or 5 of them. This is where I try to retake the right side, because I've lost it now due to his men pushing along. So now he's got an MG at the end of the road. He's got a what's it? The smallest Russian AT gun, which is an M37, I think, which dealt with my SDKFZ. And he's also got a mortar behind the wall. You can just see it highlighted, and I panned the camera over a little while ago. And he's also got a sniper, so he's got a squad of Marines and all of the what I mentioned before. So I tried to sneak up along the wall, thinking that because he's got so many men there, he won't have any men at this point. But as soon as I move my men up, he brings an entire squad, an entirely new squad of regular infantry up, or it could be partisans, I'm not overly sure, to hold that right point. So that's quite good play. And there you can hear me moaning along, because at the time I was wondering how I was going to do this. So, because he's brought the M37 up, I think that's the name of it, I've decided to bring up an H, which I think can't be penetrated by the little Russian AT gun unless it knocks the main gun out. But I'm not sure. I think the Panzer IV-H would be able to handle it. So I move it up, but I move it up too close without any support, which was a mistake to start with. You can see I moved up some Brandenburgers, also to help cap the right. I also lost the crew on my flak 38 to a mortar, so I remanned him with some tank crew, just in time for the mortar to get a direct hit on it, blowing them all up, which is nice. So I use direct control here, and I get a lucky shot and take his little AT gun out instantly. And then I try to work on the sandbags with the MG, but my crew epically fails and hits the ground right in front of them, which is a tad annoying. I forget that sniper's there annoyingly, and my Brandenburgers get depleted because of that. I think I lose 2 or 3 of them, which is not exactly what I wanted to be doing. And there goes my mortar on the left side of the... there goes my flak 38 on the left side of the screen. I get direct hit by a mortar, so that ensures I've got no emplacement in the middle. And there I was trying for some reason when I clicked my men to go around the side of the wall, I ended up clicking an observation order on them, and they gone to inspect a corpse of the enemy soldier, and I ended up having the inventory screen not being able to move.
Sort of twatting me.
And then I got stuck and couldn't go back, so it's a good thing my tank didn't get hit there, because I had no control over my men for a little while. So I leave my tank here a little bit too long. You can understand what he's going to be doing now. He's going to be bringing up a bigger AT gun to counter it. I asked Alba there for some support against the mortar vainly, but it's on my side of the map, so there's not much he can do about it, and he's busy on his side. He's managed to recap the left, so it's the onus really here is on me trying to recap the right. So we got a mortar still up, and he's brought a Zis 2 out. I get a really lucky shot on it here. It's actually a Zis 3, I think, not a Zis 2. I get a really lucky shot on it before I can take my turret out or do any serious damage to the tank, and I retreat my tank a bit while I try and cap the right. So I've managed to take out both of his AT guns, so that gives me an advantage for the time being. If I can knock out his MG with the tank using direct control, I should be able to recap the right. He's trying to sneak up here where you can see the little red marker on the map. He's trying to sneak up a bazooka, I think, to try and take my tank out from the side, but I'd already had my tank covered from the left, so it's fine. There I'm trying to use my sniper, my veteran sniper, which I brought out, to try and find his sniper. But somehow, I know where he is. He's behind that sandbag emplacement on the top right, next to the mini-map where you can see there. Not the one where I'm firing at, that's the MG emplacement. For some reason, when I was using direct control, I couldn't spot him. In the end, I ended up having to take him out with a Nebel Warfare because I can't seem to get anywhere near him. It's a bit annoying. He does take a few men out in the end as well, which is very frustrating. So here you can see that the problems this MG has caused. If I just blown out of an 18-8 in the start, I wouldn't be having these problems, but the Panzer IV eventually gets it in the end anyway. But I mean, if I had just thrown that 18-8 at the start, it would have been fine. Yeah, I wouldn't have been suppressed all this time. Here I am using direct control, trying to find his sniper again and failing. Okay, so in the mid, I'm not being attacked for the time being. All the fighting's happening on the right, but it will change now. When he sends another half squad of regular imps up to cap the mid. Again, they're in a blob, and again my two paratroopers are still there. So I lob a grenade. One grenade kills all three of the regs he sends up, which is helpful for me. I've got the FG-42, which is the paratroopers machine gun. I've got two of them set up behind the centre overlooking, and I'm going to soon bring up an MG nest to lock the middle down properly. And here he's doing the same thing. He's got his men clumped up a bit, and I'm just lobbing a few grenades in. I'm not cooking them or anything because I'm trying to focus on too many things at once, and I'm not overly brilliant at using direct control on infantry. So I just I hotkey them with F1 and then just lob a grenade in and see if and if they run off or if they throw one back, I'm quite easy. I can quite easily get away. But yeah, I'm not the best at direct control. Anyway, I set the MG up in what I think is a good position. Yeah, it ends up being quite a good position, right next to where I had my Flak 38 set up. And luckily, it's just out of range of his mortar, which is key. I didn't know that at the time, but it was. It didn't get twatted the whole time by that mortar, which was lucky for me. His mortar at the moment is trying to take out my Volksturm because I've had to bring up a whole squad of them to reinforce the right side because I've been heavily depleted. His snipers picked off my Brandenburgers, as I mentioned earlier. Just see there a quick glimpse of another Zis gun. He sets up. This time he puts a sandbag down, and one hit, and my luck ends with my tank, and it knocks the turret and main gun out. So I pull it out, but forget to repair it, which is a bit of a problem. In the end, I actually forget it's even there, and I bring out a Nashorn, forgetting I have a Panzer IV-H, which is a bit annoying. If I'd repaired it, I wouldn't have needed a Nashorn, as you'll see later on. Okay, so I'm not really making any sort of aggressive move through the middle, because I'm too concerned about losing too many men in the mid, and then being completely overwhelmed by a whole squad of regular imps. So I'm quite happy to just sit back with a couple of men, trying to pick off his units as they try to enter the middle, instead of pushing up and trying to take that mortar out, which would have cost me quite a lot of men, I think. I don't know. The mortar does do me a fair bit of damage in this game until I can take it out later on with the neb. So his sniper there takes out two more of my Volksturm on the right, and I still can't. I know where he is. I know exactly where he is, but I still can't counter snipe him with my sniper. So instead I have him a little way back, picking off the guys trying to recap the mid, because I capped it, then he capped it there, and then I capped it again, and then I lost it, and now it's neutral. No one's got it at the moment, and he's trying to cap it. Here, this is me trying to use direct control on my imp. I go forward, and then backwards, and then forward again, trying to use the grenade, and then I think, no, I can't go left because there's too many men, and I try to go right, throw it over the train car. Of course, he's got men on the right, and I lose it. So yeah. I need to get a bit better with that. Okay, so there, I forget I have the Panzer IV-H, realise it's, and then I remember I got it, and realise it's got no flipping turret or main gun. I haven't repaired it, so I quickly bring out this Nashorn, which actually proves to be quite a good purchase. But I think if my Panzer IV was up, I wouldn't have got it. It ensures, because I got too many emplacements now and tanks, I don't have enough infantry to cap the right properly for a little while now. So I get a few good shots. Well, obviously the Hummel is not the Hummel, so the Nashorn is going in to take this T-34 out. It's one of the earliest T-34s, so there's no real competition here. However, when I missed the first shot, so if he had charged straight at me with that T-34 and hit my Nashorn, I would have got twatted instantly, because it would have taken too long for me to reload before he could have got shot off, and he was in range. Luckily, he fired at my Panzer IV-H, which was a good immobile meat shield from my Nashorn, I think. So I get a few good shots, piercing the hull of the T-34, and he sends up a couple of Marines behind it to take cover and try and take the point. But because I keep firing at it, and then I get a lucky shot which goes straight through the front and hits the engine and sets it on fire, it explodes, killing the Marines taking cover behind it. So Alba on the left has got a KV-1, and he asked if I had anything up, and I said a Nashorn. So I bring it over to the left and help him out. He's brought up a SFH-18, I think. It's for artillery support over here. Interesting choice. And I'm gonna easily take this KV out. Nashorn against KV is no real contest, to be honest. I get one good shot taking the engine out. The second one, well, you'll see in a sec. It's quite lucky, and I love seeing tanks explode like that. I don't know what it is. It's quite satisfying, especially big, heavily armoured things like KVs exploding like that. Oof, makes my day. So
Su-76.
So there's just me telling Alban there was a tank on his side. I tried not to communicate too much in this battle because I was realising I was recording it, but occasionally I do say the occasional thing to him, but there's no need. He sees the Su-76, but I say it anyway. Don't know why. Here I get a really lucky shot. I'm aiming at his mortar, but at that exact point he sends up a squad of Red Guards into the middle of the area. Red Guards, Russian elite infantry, and I twat virtually all of them. I think only two of that get out, and he was obviously moving it through a choke point when I fired the neb. Very lucky by me there. I didn't exactly intend that, but I'm glad it happened anyway. Over here, Alba's getting attacked by by a T-60, which went straight through his lines. He had to quickly get out a bazooka man, missed with the bazooka, but actually managed to hit with the 18-aid. Somehow that T-60 missed both of the men, even on. I could tell he was being direct controlled, that T-60. Missed both of the AT guys, and well, when it blew up it killed them both anyway, but yeah, it was lucky. Because I think if he had killed those two AT men, it would have rolled back and killed most of Alba's infantry on the left, meaning I would have had to have gone over there to support, I think. So, lucky for both of us there. Over here, I take a little bit of an opportunity because I realise I've nailed most of his men on the right with that neb shot, and his mortar's down, so I'm going to steadily push up on this far right point, thinking that he's not got many men left here, which he doesn't, fortunately. So I'm going to be able to retake this top right point, and just for a little while until he counters later on. So I fire my second Nebelwerfer strike at his anti-tank gun, which is in place at the end of the road. Completely miss it, unfortunately, but I do in fact take out one of his snipers that are up there. He does have three snipers overall in this game. He has two guard snipers, which are a Russian hero unit, and he has a regular sniper. So with my Panzer IV now repaired, I actually remembered to repair it now, I send it back up just out of range of that Zis at the end of the road. So I have it there for support in case he sends any more tanks down the mid. Again, he's trying to sneak up. He keeps trying to sneak up men down this little pass between the warehouses and the wall, either trying to get my tank or to flank the far right point. But I have a guy there with an FG-42, which, as I mentioned earlier, is the paratrooper's version of the MG-42, which I find to be, well, ridiculously overpowered. It's a really good gun. It's much better. It's probably one of the best anti-infantry guns in the game, I'd say. And the phone is ringing. But is that? No, wait, hang on. That's in the recording. I thought that was actually in. I thought that was happening now, and I thought I'd have to pause it. That actually happened in the recording. I remember. Quite annoying. Sometimes when the phone rings here, it actually cancels, my internet cuts off, which is even better. You know, it's brilliant when that's happening. If you get a phone call, everything cuts off. The internet cuts off. The phone doesn't get answered. Yeah, best of both worlds. So here, because I got this Nashorn and that H up, and I have the Nebelwerfer and the MG nest and the sniper and half a paratrooper squad, I can't bring up any more infantry to cap the right for the time being. So all I got on the far right is one sniper and those two tanks. So if he pushes, I probably would have got twatted over there. Over here I see Alba's got a T-26 coming on his left, but I move my man up to blow it up, but he does it for me, so that's fine. Luckily my man doesn't get exploderized with that T-26. The wall protects my man. Oh god, listen to Alba, so funny. When he'll watch this vid, I don't know what he'll make of it. Don't know if he'll think he's moaning too much, or if this is pretty standard for him. Okay, yeah, right, on the right now, I don't know why my guy brought this up, but he brings up a KV-2. Now my only fault of him bringing this up is the fact he's trying to take my Nashorn out from max range, because my Nashorn has got really weak armour, really powerful gun, but it's got no protection for the crew whatsoever. So an artillery gun like a KV-2, direct hit with that, my hull will be instantly destroyed, the crew will be killed. So I move my Panzer IV-H away from my KV-2, thinking that's exactly what he's trying to do, and my Panzer IV-H away from my Nashorn, I should say, in case he hits my Nashorn with the KV-2. But luckily he doesn't. I don't know what he does with it in the end. I have no idea why he brought it up. I honestly don't. If he's trying, if I had a lot of emplacements there, if I had a lot of emplacements, I'll explain about that in a minute. Yeah, anyway, if I had a lot of emplacements, I could understand why he brought up a KV-2, and if it was me personally, I would have put it behind the wall into the middle of the compound, shooting at my infantry in the middle, and then I would have pushed up with some that would be the only reason I would have brought one of them. But the way he's put it in a direct line of sight to my Nashorn, and when I do get eyes on it again, I'll hit it with the Nashorn. So temporarily, I'm going to help Alba out here on the left. He doesn't really need it, but he told me his Nashorn got destroyed by this Su-76. Okay. I throw an 18A, take it out, but the mortar takes my paratrooper out, and then Alba tries to take the mortar out with a grenade, but he has an epic grenade fail, and for some reason his man didn't want to throw his grenade, as he says. Earlier you might have heard me mention that I wanted Alba to take one of the tanks off me, because like I was saying, I can't bring up any more infantry while I've got so much men and so many vehicles on the field. So I got this Panzer IV-H and a Nashorn really close together, and looking at this, it was a bit numpty-ish of me. Perhaps I should have moved it on to the left, because this guy on the left keeps constantly sending in light tanks to harass Alba. I mean, Alba's not having too much problem now. He's got an AT gun of some kind up, I think, but I can't remember offhand. Because there's no replay function in this game, I can't tell what Alba has been bringing. So I only know what Alba's bringing when I look over with the camera. We don't really tell each other what we're bringing most of the time. We do at the start to make sure we're not getting the same thing, but generally we don't say what we're bringing, especially in these 2v2s. These 2v2s tend to be like 1v1, separate 1v1, so we need to bring up things to compensate our own battle rather than compensate our ally. Which is, that's what I personally think. But people might disagree. In larger team battles, it tends to be a bit different. You need to bring up things that compensate your ally. So if your ally brings up an AT gun, say, and he's on your left, and there I take the KV-2 out with the Nashorn, which was pretty nice. I have no reaction to that in game, but trust me, I was really damn happy about that. Anyway, like I was saying, in large team battles, if my ally brings up an AT gun and he's on my left, and it's a big 5v5, say, let's say on the fields map, I'm not going to bring up another AT gun to compensate his AT gun. I might bring up a tank or artillery or an MG nest or whatever is needed at the time, but I ensure I don't bring up, or I try to ensure I don't bring up exactly what he has brought up, if you get me. Okay, so I'm constantly using my Nebelwerfer, which is quite, I don't know, I find it a bit overpowered for the Germans, but them being able to get one of them it's a hero point, and it's quite an effective little artillery piece. But if he had brought up I never move it because I don't think he's bringing up any artillery. He brought up an M30, which is like the second the second, what's it call it, second lowest artillery piece, but I didn't see any threat from it really, and he moved it over to Alba's side, so I didn't really move my neb about. But if my guy had, say, brought up a D1, I would be trying to shift my Nebelwerfer around so he doesn't hit it, because I'm certainly in range of his of any long range artillery. So over here is he keeps trying to push up with Inf, and I'm countering by sending my Volkssturm up and using their nades. The only thing Volkssturm are good at is throwing nades. Really, they can't shoot for crap. Volkssturm, if you are the worst quality of German infantry. I think historically they were probably drawn from I don't know, like Russian regiments and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they were called. Probably were called Volkssturm. I'm not sure what the actual word means offhand. Volkssturm. Sure, someone will tell me what it means. Saiedz will tell me what it means if no one else does. I've forgotten offhand though. But they were not the best German infantry, so I'm only using them really to cap the point, and then I'm using my supporting units to help them out. So I use my Nebelwerfer and I fire at that Zis at the end of the road. It's pretty much game over now. They say good game, but I do get quite a nice shot on here. I think I do have quite a large amount of luck in this game. So I think that the Zis has been repaired, because I can see a little repair box out by the gun, so I think, oh, he's repairing it, it's not going to fire. And then, as soon as I think that, it starts firing at me in a second. I knock the sandbags out, so I think, oh, the next hit's going to get it, and then bang, he fires back at me. But my luck's on my side, it bounces off my hull. It didn't do that earlier, and the second one also bounces off, and I think this one is going to be the... No, that one misses as well, so I get really lucky in this one. And I think I get 5 shots at it, and then that one is the icing on the cake and takes it out, which is lucky for me. So, good game to my opponents, so I cannot remember their names. I think one was called Angry Mafia or something like that. I quite enjoyed this game, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I'm not sure what you'll make in the commentary, but I hope you enjoyed the gameplay overall. It probably won't be in HD, this vid, because it's 27, 28 minutes. I won't be able to upload an HD vid of that size, I'm afraid, just because my internet is not the best. So this is the penultimate move of the game. I send out more Volkssturm to assault down the right side. I realise he's not got anything left up here now, with the anti-tank gun gone and most of his men gone. So I use the Panzer to support, and I try and clear his men out of the potholes that I've created with the Nebelwerfer. There's no need. The game was over. Thank you for watching.